Well, hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. CptRocSavage here, ready to show you guys a new video, or should I say tutorial, on how to make my static aircraft sceneries. Now, I've been getting a lot of requests from not only from obviously FlightSim.2, from where all of you I'm sure have seen me as the name of SavageSceneries, but as well as my streams, and everyone usually asking me, like, you know, where do you get these sceneries and stuff like that. So I'm gonna make a tutorial for you guys on how to do it. Obviously I'm not going to show you exactly me placing every single airplane at every gate here. We are here in Columbus, and we will this was the next airport on our list to complete. So we have the freeware scenery from FlightSim.2. That's a great scenery. I'll put the link in the description down below. But just to kind of go through this, guys, what we do here is we essentially place static sim objects from packages that have already been released, and that's kind of how we make our static sceneries. So obviously, if you guys follow me on FlightSim.2 as SavageSceneries, you guys will know that currently our current builds are all with FSLTL's static aircraft, or should I say it's just FSLTL's base packages of their aircrafts that they use for their live traffic. We use those to place them at the correct gates here at the airports throughout the world. So we'll get into this video here. I'm going to basically show you guys exactly what I do and how I do it. As far as the scenery folder is concerned, guys, I'm not going to show you guys how to build the package or build the folder. There's a really good video out there. Once again, I'll put that in the link in description below on how to actually create the folder. It's super simple, guys. It's gonna take you like 5 minutes to do, but there's a really good video out there. And since I used it to get started, I would recommend you guys go watch his video, simply because it just brings traffic to his channel as well. So I want to give him some credit, obviously, for that, for the work that he put in. So I'll kind of run through that folder for you guys, but for the most part, if you guys want to follow his tutorial on it, by all means do so. And it's a pretty simple procedure on getting that done. So let's jump into the folder process. All right, guys, so here we are. This is my MSFS static folder. Now, as you guys can see, I'm pretty organized when it comes to the airports and where they're located and stuff like that. Essentially, what I've done is, I'm sure if you guys know, I have like over 100 airports basically on my FlightSim.2 upload, and I probably have a little bit more than that, just not uploaded even at this time, current to date. But as you guys can see, if you guys are going to get into this scenery building, I definitely recommend you guys get as organized as possible, because it can get out of hand with all the airports that you guys end up building over time. So like I said, recommend trying to put those into specific categories and then going from there. So if you guys notice, I have a folder called copied folder. Now, this is just the folder that I was talking about earlier about the scenery package. You guys can name this whatever you guys want. I just name it copied folder because usually I will sit here and I will click on the folder, copy it, and then I will literally just paste it. And then this is usually where I start my next airport. So say copy folder here, then I'll just go in and rename it to whatever whatever airport I want to do. Let's just say it was LAX, or like Las Vegas. Perfect. So I was gonna say LAX, but Las Vegas works too. So if I was to just Las Vegas, here we go, I'd click on it and you'd see that we'd have the scenery build package. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that for now. But as you guys can see, we already have Columbus set up right here for this build. Essentially what it is, guys, is if I go into the copied folder here, you guys will see that there's three things. Okay, there's a package definitions folder, a package sources folder, and as well as a scenery project.xml. Now, you guys can create all of these easily by just literally copying what I have here and making your own folder. In the package definitions folder, guys, you guys are just going to have my company dash scenery dash simple, as well as an XML copy just like that. And you guys will go into this folder. You guys will make a content info folder as well as a business.json file, and then this will remain empty. And as well as the package sources folder, you're just going to have a model lib folder as well as a scene folder, and this will have a texture folder inside the model lib, and then it'll be empty there. And then in the scene folder, it should be empty here as well. Okay, so that's basically that build in a nutshell. Like I said, I'll link his description down below for that link of the video. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much the simplicity of that folder. So once that's done, you'll see that you'll get the copied, and then you can rename it to whatever airport you're doing, however you guys want to organize it. It's totally up to you. I don't care. That's up to you guys. Obviously for us, we do SS, the airport, and then static. We'll go ahead and hop into the simulator, and I'll show you guys exactly how we're going to do this from here. All right, guys, so we're here in the simulator. What we're going to do is we're going to open up developer mode. We're going to go in here in the general options. We're going to go to developers, and we're going to turn that bad boy on. We're going to go ahead and apply and save. We'll go back, resume. All right, so from this section here, we're going to go into the file section, and we're going to open project. Now this is where it gets a little interesting. So this was the last project that we were messing around with. It was in Tucson. So I'm going to go back to my folder to where everything is at, and you guys can see this is where Columbus is at. We're going to click on that, and we're going to go to where it says the scenery project.xml. We're going to click on that, and we're going to go ahead and open it. Now you're going to see that things will happen within the simulator. It's going to get all funky. Keep in mind that happens. It just takes time to load basically the airport back in. So a couple of things, guys. You'll notice that some things may not pop up on your end because it'll be either your first time in developer mode or your first time ever maybe building a scenery like project. So keep that in mind, that there's going to be some things that'll pop up on my screen that may not be there when you don't be afraid. Like, I'll show you guys where to find that kind of stuff. Okay, so off the start, you guys will get this project editor. If not, you can always come up here into tools, guys, or options. It should be up here. Oh, there we go. Editors, excuse me. And you'll see project editor. This should be checked. If it's not, go ahead and open that. Like, you can check it and they'll bring up this page for you guys. Okay, so in the project editor, you're going to see default creator name and default company name will be X'd. You guys can put names in there if you guys wish. It's totally up to you guys. But if you guys clicked on that folder that we've created, you're going to go ahead and click my company. You'll see this generate here on the left side. We will need this page, but not right now at this moment. We'll use that at the end. We're going to go to my scene, and at this point we're going to go ahead and hit load in editor. Now obviously you can see it's all messed up again. It's just going to take time to load. Now what I like to do is usually get this material editor section will pop up. I just exit out of that because we don't need it. And obviously things will load in here. It'll take some time. This will load you back into like the standard developer camera. I go up to the camera section here and I actually turn that off again, and we go back to the drone version of the camera. So this is what I personally like to use. You guys can use whatever you want. I like the drone camera. I usually set that to 100 before I do any of the developing part, but you can go ahead and figure out how you guys want to deal with that. All right, so a couple things. Obviously you guys can see that we're in the scenery editor. Now you guys have the ability, it'll probably open up like this. First of all, guys, the one nice thing that you guys have the ability to do is drag and actually put these in like little tablet like tabs, and you guys can click between the tabs. Recommend you guys do that. Not to mention, I recommend you guys use a different monitor for these kinds of windows because it can kind of get hectic when you're dealing with a lot of stuff. I personally use a different monitor. However, for the sake of this video, I'm going to have it all on one screen. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to show you guys exactly what we're going to do here for these static sceneries. Now you have a couple different options. You have FSLTL, FS Traffic, AIG, and Latin VFR, and if there's another one, maybe there's another one out there, I don't know. But out of those, you have those ability, like those options to use for any of those, you know, airplanes that you really want to utilize for any of your projects. I try to recommend using ones that are usually free, just because it tends to, you know, a lot of people tend to download those versus, you know, things that are payware. So I would suggest using free ones if you guys are going to use them. Like I said, FSLTL tends to be the best in my opinion, but once again, it's totally up to you. It's your projects. So for FSLTL, it actually is not in the scene. It's not a scenery. It's not a scenery file. It's under the sim objects files. So you have to actually go into sim objects here. It may stall the sim here for a minute while it loads. It does that with sim objects for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but it does. And this specific folder that we're in, this is the project editor folder, and then you could see where it says objects. But once again, this is just another thing that's separated. I just plug it into this so that these two are together. So it's really the objects folder, guys. And if you guys need to find the objects folder and it's not there already, you'll see that we have an inspector as well. So you want the inspector. That's what this folder is over here. So this will pop up as the inspector. Like I said, there's a lot of weird things that you have to go through if you're running into those kind of issues. For the scenery editor, if you guys want the objects to pop up and it's not already, go ahead and select objects, and that's where this tab here will pop up if it's not already up for you guys. Okay, so here's the objects. Under scenery editor, you click view and objects. Another thing that we're going to need to click is the gizmo. The gizmo is this little guy up here, and we'll show you exactly what the gizmo does. But go ahead and select view and gizmo. Make sure that that's up because we are going to need that. All right, so under the sim objects, I'm just going to type in FSLTL, and there you guys can see it says FSLTL traffic base. We're going to click on that. Okay, so for this specific airport, I actually flew out of this airport this morning, so I'm very familiarized with where everything was at since I did a little walk around the airport just to kind of confirm. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pull up, for instance, Spirit Airlines. Okay, so Spirit goes by the call sign of November Kilo Sierra. So we're going to go ahead and type in NKS. Now you guys can see that we have FSLTL's Spirit Airlines planes that they use currently in their selection of aircraft. Now we can go ahead and select whichever one we want. If you guys want to be so specific that you guys look up the specific planes that are specifically flying in based on, you know, current day routes and stuff like that, you totally can. For instance, there was an A320 when I was there. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the plane, and you're going to come down here and hit add, and it's going to generate the aircraft, and there she is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pull this aircraft. Now you guys can see there's a green square here, right? Up in the gizmo, we're on the translate mode. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move this guy over here, and if I want to turn the aircraft, you're going to see that it says rotate. So we're going to go ahead and select rotate, and as you guys can see with that green line here, you have the ability to alter the aircraft whichever direction you want. Now, just like with your drone, you have the ability to still move your camera around whenever you need to. And once you're done moving the camera, we're back into translate mode. Sometimes, like, I forgot exactly which buttons it is or which keys it is on the keyboard, but sometimes you just select and it'll swap out the translate mode or over from the rotate mode. Now, as you guys can see, you guys can select, you know, which gate you want to put it at. Obviously, this gate is not necessarily ideal, and you guys will notice that I usually try to select gates where the planes don't almost connect with the jetways. So this gate doesn't really make too much sense. Now, in the real world, these are all United gates here on the right side, and these were still some Spirit planes. So the Spirit was at this gate, but once again, a lot of these airports utilize gates just based on availability. Especially with budget carriers. So what I always do is I always make sure that the aircraft is at least lined up with the line, and then I go ahead and make sure that it's perfectly set up on the line and perfectly there. So as you guys can see, that is our first aircraft here at the Columbus airport, and there you go, there you have it. That's as simple as it is. Now I'll show you guys another couple aircraft that you guys can choose as far as setting things up. Obviously, this is United's section, so if I click in UAL, you have the selection of a bunch of UAL planes, which is United. You also, guys, you got to remember, sometimes FSLTL doesn't have all the specific planes based on just a call sign. So sometimes it's not just under UAL. You can actually just type in United. If I can type for you guys. You type in United, you actually might get a few more models that will pop up and generate here under a different call sign or a different name. So keep that in mind, guys, when you're trying to do some of these builds, as that will actually happen where you guys can actually select you can find a different model. That happens with a couple of them, so just keep that in mind. Sometimes this will happen too, where the plane will get stuck and you're clicking on it and you're like, what the hell? If you come up over here to your scenery editor and you see where that plane is, so we just spawned a United new color 737. If you click on that, you can pull that up again and have the ability to move the aircraft around. Okay, so you have the ability to place it. Like I said, this is a freeware project, so this isn't going to be necessarily the perfectly placed gates and all that kind of stuff. So keep that in mind that if I wanted to do this here, like, that's not the most accurate gate placement probably for this specific gate. So I'm just using that as an example, guys. Okay, but we'll go ahead and skip forward. I think that was a good enough tutorial, guys, of how you guys can move around and place aircraft. I'm going to go ahead and finish this airport, and I'll show you guys the finished product when it's done, and we'll get back here in the video in just a minute. All right, guys, so once you guys have set all of your static aircraft here and you are satisfied with how the airport looks, you're satisfied with how all the static aircrafts are placed throughout the airport, then it's time to actually save your project. Now, you're going to see that if you leave it here and it's still giving you these red default names and companies, it's not a big deal. You can fill in something for those categories if you wish. It isn't necessarily a priority to do that. You'll still be able to save everything and it'll be more than fine. It's totally up to you. So what you're going to do, we first need to save the scenery, okay? That's the first thing you need to do. And what's going to end up happening is you're going to come over here into your scenery editor, and you're going to see this little thing down here that's going to say save scenery. You're going to select that. Now, we got the green save because we did already save this. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what's going to pop up for you guys and where you're going to have to locate to actually pick where to save this scenery. All right, so what's going to end up happening is it's going to open up this project that you are already loaded into. So what's going to end up happening is it's going to show your project and you're going to see package sources. If you go into the package sources, you're still going to have a couple of things here. It's not going to show you all these packages. I'll show you what it's going to look like once it's completely done, but you're going to find the scene folder. And this is where we're going to save this saved scenery into the scene folder. So what you're going to do is you're going to select scene, and then once you hit save, that scenery XML file is what actually is being created right then as soon as it's saved. So right now, if you were to back out of this folder, you'd come back into scene. This would be here, okay? This is obviously, like I said, I've already saved the scenery at this point, so you didn't get to see the little window that pops up that you basically just select yes, and then once that happens, you can go ahead and save it under the package sources here and then into scene. That's basically what you're going to need to do to save the scenery, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and click back into the simulator here. So after you've saved your scenery, now we got to build the package, okay? Now, building the package, we need to go back into the inspector section. So you're going to see this is where we would load into editor, and then you're going to come back to our project editor page, and then you're going to come over the scenery simple file. That's like the main folder. You'll click that again, and now you'll see that the inspector page has changed, okay? Once again, if you watch PatriotSix's video, he's going to tell you to change the company names and all that kind of stuff. If you want to personalize the folder, it's totally up to you guys. You do not have to do that. I just leave it simple. I don't really care personally. So you can go back to the inspector page, and what we're going to do finally is build the package. Now, when you build this package, you're going to select this. And based on the size of the airport, if it's a really big airport like LAX, for example, it's probably going to take a couple minutes to actually generate all these sim objects in and create the scenery. Since this is a small airport, probably going to be only about 10 to 15 seconds here when we're going to see that build package pop up on our main screen. But other than that, usually your smaller airports are less time. The bigger airports with a lot more FSLTL traffic, or whichever traffic you guys decide to use, sometimes will take a lot longer, okay? So as you guys can see, it has build the package for us. You see this big window that pops up. You could see some warnings or errors that will pop up, like potentially. Sometimes it doesn't have anything necessarily to do with your specific scenery and stuff like that, but just to keep that in mind for the future. So what you're going to do is you're going to exit out of this here, and then we're going to show you exactly what it'll look like here in your folder. So we're back here into our folder now. Once you've built the package, you're going to see all of these packages here, okay? That they're at least all of these folders. These are not all here in the initial package. If you guys remember, it's just your couple of folders there in the scenery package or scenery project. So if you go into packages, you're going to select this, and you can see that we've already saved one and have a raw file already. So this is what's going to end up happening. You're just going to have a folder built, and it's going to look like this. You're going to have the content info, scenery, layout, and manifest. and that's essentially what's going to be inside. And this is what you would drag into your community folder. This is exactly what you guys download from my flight sim.2 project uploads. Is you guys download the .rar file, and then this is what you guys would take and literally drag into your community folder. So this is exactly what we're going to do, what you guys are going to have. I'm going to go ahead and delete this since I don't need it. It's literally the same package here. But once again, obviously, if you guys are building your own packages, just make sure that you guys, the biggest advice I can give you guys is to keep everything as, you know, organized as possible, because the more of these airports that you guys end up building, just the more, you know, the more difficult it can be keeping things organized with all of these different types of airports, especially when you start navigating around the world and you're starting to create these projects for all these places around the world. It gets a little bit hectic. So really recommend you guys on trying to do that. Okay, so as you guys can see, we'll go back to my static folder here, and what I like to do is, after I've added everything, I like to cut the project, place it in the area of its location of the country, and I place it, or at least the region, I like to place it there, and then we're good to go, and we are saved with our current new static aircraft build. All right guys, so that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope that was enough of a tutorial for you guys here on the static aircraft builds. You know, my biggest advice for you guys is, if you guys are going to make these, start off with smaller airports first to kind of get the hang of it. You get into the bigger airports and you're not used to doing this kind of work, it does get tedious with the more airplanes you need to place, the more gates, and just overall it can get overwhelming really quick, and you start to making mistakes. And you know, especially if you guys are going to publish them, like I said, just make sure that they're perfect, or you're going to hear the criticism. I can tell you that, guys, for sure. And like I've always said, I love the criticism for myself. It only makes my sceneries a little bit better. So you know, for my recommendation for you guys that are going to start out doing this, definitely just, you know, start out small and then work your way into the, you know, the bigger airports if you wish to navigate into those, you know, that realm of complexity. So like I said, that's going to wrap up this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys took away quite a bit of information from here. I hope that helped out a lot of you that have been asking for this video. With that being said, guys, if you ever have any questions, please feel free to hit me up in the Discord, hit me up in Lightsim.2, hit me up in the comments below. If you guys aren't subscribed, definitely subscribe now if you can, and show the support, guys, from the YouTube channel, and also at Twitch for CptRocSavage. They're on Twitch as well. So hope you guys enjoyed the smaller video, hopefully, and learned a lot. Thanks again, guys. Have fun and stay safe and fly safe. We'll see you guys.